As usual, I bring you the news.
Don't get me wrong.
Brandon Somoza being led out of the Midtown South Precinct on West 35th Street this morning. Police say at about 2 a.m. Sunday, he robbed a 38-year-old woman in the hallway of her Hell's Kitchen apartment building. He allegedly grabbed her purse, cell phone, and bank cards and also performed a lewd act. The victim is a Manhattan assistant DA. She was not injured. Police traced her stolen cell phone to a hotel on West 45th Street, which led them to believe the suspect is a migrant, and they were able to track him down. Somoza was arrested just last night. Police say he was using drugs on the street and had stolen items with him. Police believe he is part of Tren de Aragua. That's the Venezuelan gang that has preyed on people in Times Square and Central Park. Somoza is facing a number of counts, including sexually motivated robbery and burglary.
I've never heard people describe something as sexually motivated robberies.
He also has 6 prior arrests, all from this year on similar crimes, and he's believed to have arrived in the U.S. in February of 2023.
That's wild. And he did many times, 6 times from February till now? So, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg assistant robbed and attacked by an illegal migrant with 5 arrests since 2023. He's a Venezuelan TDA gang member and the taxpayers paid for his hotel. You know what's interesting? Alvin Bragg is gangster DA about to win re-election and he is actually soft on crime.
My girl just lost a day ago. Like, damn.
I don't know why they're painting it. I mean, let me see who is the loser, so I'll be reminded why she lost.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way. So when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
Yeah. But I think that's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News.
And Meat Puppet.
But
We're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal.
But we went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
Well, in defense, there are some really good news.
It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
There are some really good news kind of influencer types, and I think it's great that they're getting information about global and current events in front of younger people who maybe don't tune into traditional media. But to Sarah's point, there has to be some fact-checking and actually verification of the things that are shared, because I spend a lot of time on Instagram Reels, and I'm served up things that I get outraged about, and then I realize, oh, that's not even true, but I have the sense to go and look it up. But what I do worry about with this, like the Blue Sky versus X, because a lot of people I follow on X, Twitter, have now left to go to Blue Sky, I worry we're all going into our own echo chamber. So we had this, this election that was tense. Donald Trump won, and the right is going to stay on X, and then the left is all going to be on Blue Sky. How do we try to talk to each other?
Very simple. You can stay here, have your opinion, and we can help each other and fact check each other. You can go do community notes. It's very simple. You can't do that on Blue Sky. I can say one thing and you get banned very quickly. Not by bots, by moderators like Reddit.
Well, unfortunately, I will have to say, the other side, I think, has driven people away, because it's not just discourse. It's nasty name calling and coming after your family, and I'm going to do this to you. And I don't think anyone should have to take that from anybody if they don't have to. Well, so I'm not, and I think a lot of Republicans who also are getting that because they have opinions that may differ from what is being said, they're moving as well, because and I know why also, because as I believe, Elon Musk is the actual vice president.
I don't know why when somebody kind of makes sense, they come with a wild opinion that I'm like, why? Even Joe Rogan chimed in, that's my new official X description. But at the same time, you guys made Sonny Hosen apologize again. Like a prisoner, like a hostage.
Sorry, I have a legal note. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime. Gaetz previously dismissed allegations that he paid for sex, saying that, quote, someone is trying to recategorize my generosity to ex-girlfriends as something more untoward. Another legal note, Pete Hegseth's lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. He has denied any wrongdoing.
Just call the show Legal Note from now on.
Or really long music.
Or you can say, the new Attorney General is a woman.
Who?
These criminals made one very big mistake. They wound up in Polk County. And I'll tell you, it's bad enough in one thing to profit from poisoning others, but it's another when you bring drugs from Mexico into our country, California, Texas, Georgia, and end up in our state and do it with impunity. Because when you're in this country illegally and you're doing things illegally, I want to tell you, and you wind up in Polk County, Grady Judd is going to find you. The DEA is going to help them, and my statewide prosecutors are going to lock you up for as long as we can.
And we're going to enjoy it.
And each of these defendants are looking at 30 years in Florida State Prison for conspiracy to traffic drugs.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic-leaning people or the left-leaning people, or I'll just say the other people that think different, they ain't happy with that either.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
How can you hate a person for being competent? Like, you don't know any other way to go after a woman by saying, I don't like you because you're good at your job. I don't know what the heck is going on. This is a wild definition. I don't like your wife. She's a good one. I'm just trying to understand the logic.
So my husband moved to the United States from Europe 6 years ago for college. He came here legally. We were both swimmers at the University of Kentucky. We got married at the end of my senior year in 2022, meaning we've been married for over 2.5 years now. Maybe you think he's well on his way to becoming a U.S. citizen, and you would be wrong. After 2.5 years of marriage, he still doesn't even have his green card.
Surprise, motherfucker.
If you haven't dealt with this process, I envy you. It requires so much in terms of application process, immigration lawyers, fees that you have to pay. Months and months and months went by before we heard from USCIS or Immigration Services, until finally we got this letter in the mail. I'm not going to include the whole letter because it contains personal information, but we got a request for evidence. The evidence that immigration was looking for was a completed vaccination record. And what vaccination did my husband not have? The COVID vaccination. Yes, you heard that right. In the year 2024, you have to have the under-researched, ineffective COVID vaccine to enter into this country legally. Notice I said legally, because our government does not require illegal immigrants to have the COVID vaccine. Like, really think about that. Think about how hard our government has made it for people migrating into this country legally in comparison with those who break the law. Because if you just walk across the southern border, you're given housing, you're given a driver's license, you're given money, and our government has never been able to answer basic questions about COVID and the vaccine. Like, if the masks work, why do we have to social distance? And if the 6-foot distance works, then why do we have to wear masks? And if both of those things work, then why the lockdowns? And if all three of those work, then why the vaccine? And if the vaccine was effective, then why the boosters? And why was COVID never bad enough to shut the southern border? But honestly, even still, it's a decision my husband would make 10 days out of 10. What good is a green card with compromised health? When this craziness inevitably ends, because it will, my husband will become a citizen and have a functioning immune system. So it's a win-win.
I'm not going to talk about the chupacabra and the punky punky. I just find it weird that it's so hard to become a citizen when you're already a citizen in another country and you're doing it legal from a Western country. But you can just walk across the border and enter. Just throw your ID away. I'm Venezuelan. Yes, you have white Venezuelan people. If you just say it, they'll believe you. Another huge caravan is headed here to enter the southern border illegally while people wait years to get in legally.
I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy is doing great. A 12-pack of Bounty is $40. Rich folks don't feel that. Poor folks already switched to Sparkle during the COVID, during the lockdown. And I think telling them that the NASDAQ is gangbusters is further insulting. It's insulting. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting. For the working class to see incoming migrants getting welcome bags, debit cards, and motel rooms is probably insulting as well. So there's a lot of work to do. You know, it was when they handed out camo hats that said Harris Walls, and the Democrats they were kind of charmed by that. Their party has gone quinoa, and the rest of America's eating at Cracker Barrel. And so it was kind of an ironic use of something millions of Americans put on their heads to start their day every day. Yeah, they need to reach out to America again and be less about what's called suicidal empathy, worrying so much about minority groups in society and in your party that you win the argument, but you don't win the election.
I've been saying that. This is a news anchor from your past, on your side. That's like, yo, you went to the left too much, that even I have to call you out because you lost the popular vote, the working class, the ones that generally is paying for most of the stuff, and they feel it.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa tita bong. Butta fire na mi blonde, kush hash purple skunk, criollo colombici jam jam, dur loqueta, verdetta welcome.